A rare sight in the Centennial State, the Northern Lights are visible tonight. Our own Corey Reppenhagen sent us a time lapse from Arvada. He did more than just snap great pictures. The photos are incredible. Really glad you joined us. I'm Kim Christensen.
I'm Kyle Clark. Just a stunner in the skies tonight. This is not some fleeting glimpse of the Northern Lights in like far northern Colorado. No, this is an absolute showstopper from northern Colorado down to the southernmost part of our state. An absolutely rare sight in our skies. Let's bring in meteorologist Kathy Sabin. Talk more about this. People are competing, Kathy, right? Like town to town, city to city. Like, take a look at this. Take a look at this.
Yeah,
better like here.
Yeah, Arvada represents, Aurora represents, South Dakota, Missouri, Indiana, Nebraska. It's crazy. It's a level 4 out of 5. It's a solar flare that set off this geomagnetic storm that created this color in the sky. It's still happening. You've still got time to get out there and see the color. Best to look through your camera phone, then you'll really be able to see those colors pop. But from Steamboat to Pagosa Springs to Colorado Springs, out on the eastern plains, unbelievable. Temperatures are comfortable for viewing, 50 here at the 9 News studios after a day with highs above average again, near 70 degrees. The wind hasn't been a big factor this afternoon, and that's always good news. But the wind will be shifting, transporting moisture in from a storm that will bring mountain snow on Friday. At least some part of our state could see some snow, some beneficial moisture by the time we hit the weekend. Temperatures are in the mid 40s now, dropping into the lower 40s by sunrise. Your weather headlines include, yep, I said it, there's the chance for snow in Denver, the first of the season next week. We'll talk about that. Before we get to that, though, we're dealing with high fire danger, record high temperatures. Oh, it's not a good pattern, but the first storm comes in over the weekend. Details on the timing and impact of the mountain storm coming up.
But more importantly, tomorrow night, the lights could be better.
All right, Phil, I don't know how you feel about spending the night on the roof. Phil Lipoff's up there for us, but you heard Kim. Tomorrow night could be better, so just get a tent out and make yourself comfortable.
Kyle, Kim, this really is spectacular. Trust me, you can't see it with your naked eye, but if you use your phone, wow, does the sky light up. Forecasters issued what is called a severe G4 geomagnetic storm watch for both today and tomorrow. Basically, the Northern Lights are just a solar flare. There's nothing really abnormal or unusual about that, but they do vary in strength. One viewer called into our newsroom earlier on tonight, and I want to quote this and get it right. He said, "My sky is red." That's what he reported, and boy, was it. You've been sending in pictures all night. Let's take a look at some of them. First up, and probably one of the best pictures we have, this is from Lisa, Shadow Mountain Lake in Grant County. One of the shots we've seen that's multicolored, both green and red. Red and yellow from Benjamin in Glenwood Springs, beautiful. Solid red from Addie and Lyons. And Nancy sent us this bright red view of the lights from Howard. For Rose in Boulder, the lights appeared purple. Look at that. Also in Boulder tonight, an explanation from the NOAA Space Weather Prediction Center.
A geomagnetic storm is a significant geomagnetic disturbance, basically a magnetic storm. And what happens when those occur is we can see things like the Northern Lights spin up from time to time.
So the folks who rate these things rate them from G1 to G4 in a matter of strength. Think of it like hurricanes, from a 1 to a 5. This is from a 1 to a 4 for the strongest. That's what we saw tonight. That's why we're able to see it in the sky. But don't worry, if you didn't get a chance to see it tonight, you'll get another chance tomorrow. I know that because I got to speak to Kathy Sabin tonight, chief meteorologist, who gave me a lot of my information for this particular story. Kathy.
Take it back, Phil. Thank you. Hundreds of representatives are heading back to Washington, D.C. as they prepare to vote on a bill to reopen the government.
Hope they enjoyed their 8 weeks of remote work with pay.
Yeah.
With pay. House is now back to take up the Senate's deal to end the shutdown. Small group of moderate Democrats voted with Republicans in the Senate to pass that legislation last night. Colorado's 2 Democratic senators, John Hickenlooper and Michael Bennett, both voted no. They said they're opposed because the legislation didn't do anything to address their main concern, which is the expiring Affordable Care Act subsidies. That's why insurance premiums are about to spike. Instead, this plan to reopen the government promises a tax credit extension gets a vote at some point, but there's no guarantee that that vote will actually happen in the Republican-controlled House. Today, Senator Bennett said he doubts, even if the vote comes up, that it would pass.
I don't expect any Republicans in the Senate to change their vote, and I don't expect the House to try to pass that bill. We could end up being surprised by that, but I wouldn't hold out hope for that.
Republican Speaker Mike Johnson says the House will vote on legislation to end the shutdown tomorrow afternoon. If it passes, it then heads to President Trump's desk. He has already said he will sign it.
600,000 Coloradans who receive SNAP food assistance remain in legal limbo tonight. The U.S. Supreme Court extended an order allowing the Trump administration to only send out partial payments. The decision means that until the shutdown ends, SNAP will only be 65% funded. Reopening the government will restart the program, but it's not clear how quickly full payments will be put out. Over the weekend, there was a brief period when the court allowed full payments to be sent out. Only about 32,000 Coloradans received their full benefits. President Trump is lashing out at air traffic controllers who didn't show up for work without pay during the shutdown. He's threatening to replace them with, quote, true patriots.
Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy warns that flight disruptions may actually get a bit worse as the shutdown ends. Today, major airlines canceled 6% of their flights to comply with his mandates to limit air travel. 9 News reporter Shalima Maharaj explains the lingering impacts of the shutdown on air travel.
Alyssa, one aviation expert we spoke to says some areas are simply going to recover faster than others. Now, while a lot of people are getting notifications on their phones in advance of their flights, there are still some people who are showing up here at the airport only to find out that their flights have either been delayed or scrapped altogether.
It was supposed to be a quick weekend trip from Friday and then come back on Monday.
In the end, quick isn't how it played out for Dominique Mosley.
I went up to Idaho Springs to go to one of my friends' wedding.
Getting there was pretty simple. Getting home,
Of course, the Uber ride was $140 from the mountains to the airport. So that was already kind of like a, something I had to get over.
when she arrived at the airport, she learned her flight to Orlando had been canceled.
It's like 9:30, almost 10 o'clock at night at this time. My flight was supposed to be for 12:15. They told me the next flight wasn't until 3 p.m. the next day.
Roughly 1,200 flights were canceled in the U.S. on Tuesday, according to flight tracking website FlightAware.
Cautiously optimistic is how I'm viewing this.
Aviation expert Chad Kendall believes once the shutdown is over, airlines will be able to bounce back, rearranging their schedules quickly.
We'll still see some lingering delays with TSA and with the air traffic control. They're going to have to reassess their capacity, how many personnel they have at checkpoints, who they lost during the shutdown.
He says passengers should anticipate some delays.
I look at it like a traffic accident on I-25. The accident's cleared, but there's still a lot of traffic.
As for Dominique Mosley, she's home at last. Between meals, Uber rides, and a hotel stay, she says she spent around $500.
I didn't realize how the government shutdown was affecting everybody out there until it happened to me. So I think that more people should be mindful, including myself.
Well, Chad Kendall says it has always been important to know the policy of the airline that you're traveling with, but even more so in the middle of a government shutdown when those details can sometimes become very murky. And of course, stress levels are very high. Reporting from DIA, Shalima Maharaj, 9 News.
Happening now, the Jefferson County Sheriff's Office is searching for a person who shot someone in an apparent act of road rage. It happened on southbound 285 at Sourdough Drive. That's near Conifer. There's still a lot we don't know, like how that victim is doing. The southbound side of 285 is closed now while deputies investigate. A middle school teacher in Dudco Schools is accused of sexual assault. The principal at Ranch View Middle School in Highlands Ranch sent a note to families today. She says deputies arrested Teresa Whalen yesterday. Whalen is an integrated wellness teacher. The principal says Whalen has worked for the district for over 4 years and is on administrative leave. She says that Whalen faces charges including sexual assault, online exploitation, and stalking.
Denver police are investigating a hit-and-run death in the southwest part of the city tonight. Police say it happened at South Irving and West Evans just after 6. Officers found that person dead when they arrived. Roads were closed for a while for the investigation but are back open. As of now, police have not released any information about the car involved.